through some games here, playing the Wishing version of Niv in Ranked. A few minor changes since we last played this. We've dropped Tolsimir and a few other things. We've still got our Kalias because we're still trying her. She's a good rate free flyer with Vigilance that can find us a Niv, which is pretty good. We're still trying out Fable because it's still turning out to be the best thing we've got. Aside from that, obviously Edgar, board wipes. Mila is... I'm determined to find this place for Luca in this deck. Our 4 Ravens Warning, which is a saga that in the end lets us put a card from outside the game on top of our library. And our 4 main targets are Captive Audience for super late game, Garruk if we need to stabilize the board a bit, Outlaw's Merriment if we've got to play more defensive, if we have low life and we want draw, or if it's stalled, Skeleton Swarming to just gradually go wide and take out as much as we can. So now we're Wandering Mind to dig, Kolaghan's Command to buy back, Diregrain Rampage is our ramp/enchantment hate. We got 2 Weenie hate with the Clarions, we got Growth Spiral for ramp, Rip Apart for versatile removal, Assassin's Trophy removal, Angus Rampage for edict effects and Planeswalker removal, full playset of Vanishing Verse for monocolor, and Tyrant Scorn for mini creatures. 35 lands in total, so that's a deck. Aside from our Tutoring package, we have Control Hate, Multicolored Permanent Hate, Control Hate again, more hate on Control, and then we just have more removal and board wipes and combo hate. Let's see how these matches go. Right, into our games with the Pioneer Explorer deck. Starting off here, keep a solid 7, we got Fable and Is It to go? And we get immediately Thoughtseize, show more respect to the Fable than to the Niv. Fable Passage, and our opponent appears to be Dimir, so potentially either Esper Control or Dimir Reanimator shenanigans. We get black, and we top deck Mila. We're playing these at higher speeds with post commentary. And our opponent thinks for a long time. Misses our land drop, so we drop our land. I choose to decline. Don't want to present anything that might get Thoughtseized, and they immediately concede because they kept a bad hand. Assuming it's control, bring in the control pieces and take out the Tyrant Scorns because they don't do great about this. And we take out 1 Deafening Clarion, assuming they're not a creature-based deck. We don't have much to go on, but it's best shot. Game 2, we have another Fable hand, so we'll keep that. Drop a hand, opponent goes Duress, takes our Fable. Into Thoughtseize, takes our Wandering Mind. We drop a tap land and get a Raven's Warning. 3 mana and they drop Rafine the Schemer. So we drop a Raven's Warning to get it rolling. And I wonder, is this some kind of Esper Tempo deck? They connive once with the attack in Rafine. I choose to keep a bird here because the second chapter of the Raven's Warning. Oh, and they drop the Raven, man. And make a bird. But the bird can't block, very key thing here. We go in, look at their hand. They got nothing but land. So, choose to drop a land and drop our Vanishing Verse to get rid of the Raven Man. Because I believe they might just be like a discard hand attack deck. They connive twice and discard 2 cards. Then cycle, clearly looking for something. We come to our turn and we put on top of our deck. What do I do here? I can't remember. Skeleton Swarming for fun. I decided since they've only got 2 mana out, they've got 2 cards I don't know about here, but I think it'd be better if I just go for Drown in the Loch, just to get rid of it while I can, pay the 1 ward, kill the Rafine, they draw their card and concede, so I'm confused. Next match. Okay, this is going to be played at 4 times speed because it's a doozy of a match. It's control, and we do 40 minutes of literally doing nothing. And you think I'm joking? I'm not. Literally, this is how the game goes. We cast a spell, it gets countered. They dig for spells, they dig for spells, they dig for spells. And nothing gets resolved. Whenever we put anything on the board to apply pressure, we get blown out because the Wandering Emperor exists. And I believe in this game it comes down to Teferis. I'm surprised the opponent lets us resolve this, but then of course they have farewell. We hit a Niv. Get an okay reload. They Fateful Absence. We drop the Raven's Warning here. And they start using Memory Deluge, which is a big pain in our ass here. Narset digs and finds another Memory Deluge. We exile that so we can draw cards. They March of Light to us. We draw basically the wrong half of our deck here. More Memory Deluges, more finding cards. We get back our Niv and force them to discard, kind of doing a counter check here. We put on top of our deck a veto, because I think I value more countering their potential game wins here. So I choose to veto the Teferi. I drop in the Niv. Get more cards which are pretty much useless in this matchup. And decide to go for the attack. Here comes Wandering Emperor to ruin our day. I instead then go for a Vanishing Verse to exile it and a Tyrant Scorn to bounce Niv back to hand. They literally, we're going at 4 times speed here, so this is how long they fought to not do anything. We drop another Raven's Warning, we drop a Wandering Mind, we're just digging through our deck, find another Raven's Warning. They dig through Memory Deluge, get more cards, Supreme Verdict, drop a World Tree, drop another Raven's Warning and pass back. Portable Hold takes out a flyer because they don't want us to see all the counterspell shenanigans they've got in their hand. They finally absorb again. So this time I decided to put another veto on top here. I'm going to use the third Raven's Warning to try and set up things. Another absorb counters on Niv. I decided now to put something that'll just put pressure on them if I can. Another Wandering Emperor. We exile it. They have 1 card in hand, but they have another Memory Deluge, so we counter that. Now they start swinging in with the dragon, so we kill the dragon. They have another Memory Deluge, so they get more cards and more cards and more cards. I'm going to Captive Audience here. They let us create the zombies. We take the hit. They have another Farewell. Cast a Raven's Warning. They start pumping out tokens. They play a Shock Typhoon. I take this out with an Assassin's Trophy. And then we just keep going to combat. They Shock Typhoon for another one. We dig, look for another answer. Play Edgar. We put a Skeleton Swarming on top of our deck just for the hell of it. We attack, put Urine into hand. They Memory Deluge again. We go to Blink Edgar, but they found another Wandering Emperor, and I'm just done at this point. Bring in all the control pieces, take out our creature removal. We take out an additional card here just to balance it out, because we're not resolving it. We mulligan down, find an okay hand. We go for a turn 2 Growth Spiral. Just keep chucking our lands onto the field. We get a Fable on the go. We throw away some lands, draw some more lands. We could go for Niv here, but they're pretty much guaranteed presenting Absorb here. So we flip the Saga. My basic plan is to force them into a scenario where they're going to have to board wipe to just get rid of our value, which is what they do here, leaving them open to a Niv.
Reload!
We don't hit really anything of value. We hit it on Mordigo. If we could resolve that, we'd be in a great place. I use Fateful Absence. I counter their Fateful Absence and go for an attack. I don't go for the attack here because they're clearly representing the Wandering Emperor, but they have another counter, so we're basically done here. We draw all our Raven's Warnings and none of our interaction. So the Raven, we get taken out there. Put Urine into hand with the intention of blinking the cards if we can. Another Narset finds more Memory Deluges. We force them to stack Narset. We go for combat here. We see their hand and draw cards, see everything disgusting. We get a D-Spark for the Teferi if it ever comes down. And Memory Deluge just digs and digs and digs and digs and digs. Right, they go for the plus. Right, we draw. Put on top of the deck. I'm trying to decide here. I put Skeleton Swarming. I go for the Anger's Rampage to make them sacrifice, knowing that they have some 4 mana or higher despark things. I'm still concerned about a Farewell here because we've seen it in the hand. I'm going to hold up for the veto. I didn't have the mana to cast the Skeletons and do it, and they just concede to that. Bring in Cindervines, go down Edgar. Edgar's fantastic, but the problem is, obviously, their removal is mostly exile because we've got to give control players the answer to every permanent in existence. Game 3 is a little bit more clunky, I believe. We get a red here so we can use our Mirror Breaker Fable. It resolves, meaning they're probably holding some kind of interaction. We chuck 2 lands, draw a bit more interaction, which is pretty good for us. Start making some treasures. They double cycle Shock Typhoon. So in the end step, I use this to kill one of their tokens so I can get in for an attack. Probably a bad call, but I kind of wanted the treasure, and I have a second Drown in the Loch to deal with something if they throw away enough cards. They go for a Supreme Verdict. We cycle a land to find a land. We cycle a land to find a land. We cycle a land to find a Growth Spiral, which is eventually a cycling land. Fortunately, our opponent has now dumped pretty much enough cards for this Drown in the Loch to be active. I choose not to fight over the Memory Deluge. I'll fight over the Bounce Back if we have to. I go for Cindervines. Wandering Emperor comes in. I counter the Wandering Emperor, force them to use an Absorb. But Cindervines really doesn't have much effect here when every spell apparently not only stops our threats but gives them life. They Teferi, we exile Teferi, they absorb it. Fortunately we have... So we choose to put Outlaw's Merriment for the time's sake. We go for the sack outlet here. They have their like 15th counterspell, so we have to use both our Rip Aparts to kill the Teferi. They start hitting us with a Cave Dragon. We drop the Outlaw's Merriment. Fortunately, they Memory Deluge to find more answers, to find more answers, to find more answers. We hit them down to 15, they drop another Teferi, Growth Spiral, unable to find a counterspell. They tuck our enchantment. We Fable the Mirror Breaker attack. I animate the Frost Dragon. I'm just trying to get the resolve, but they had another counterspell because, of course they did. We decline and we go for a attack here. It's going to die to the Cave of the Frost Dragon. So we use Wandering Mind here. They have another Memory Deluge to basically look forever. We whiff completely and know that we are not resolving the Outlaw's Merriment because they're up to 7 cards again. But it does resolve to my surprise. They drop a Hullbreaker Horror and an Emperor. And yeah, we could counter this, but it's pretty much just over. So we just concede to save time. Final matchup here, we go up against Sultai Ultimatum. And our opponent has the single makes me so jealous. So this is Fight Rigging Ultimatum. A new deck on the scene where basically you go for the fight rigging synergies with the big creatures, but also you can use the ultimatum to win. So our opponent drops a fight rigging. We don't have a spell in hand to kill the fight rigging, so we go for Kolaghan's Demand to just get rid of some of their resources and make them down. So they then play Temple of Malady, play Shakedown Heavy, fight rigging gets a trigger, they have the ultimatum. So in their, they didn't even get the ultimatum in their opening hand. They had the ultimatum in the top deck when they played the fight rigging. The most amazing luck. I've never hit Niv as the consistency as they do in this match. We go down adding a few counter spells. Basically we want to counter the ultimatum if we can. We go up on our hand and we mulligan. Vanishing Verse is great. We fortunately have to drop one of our basics here and consider how we're going to go. So they mulled to 6, so they didn't have the perfect hand this time. Right, we get a white setting up for the Vanishing Verse because we inevitably are going to have a fight rigging on our hands, I guarantee it. We drop a Raven's Warning because I want to see what's in their hand. I'm assuming they don't have enchantment removal, but yep, there's a fight rigging. They take a little longer this time so they don't hit perfect on this fight rigging. Goes in and does 2 damage, puts us back down to 20. We get in and look at their hand. It's disgusting. Once again, they have a fight rigging and a shakedown heavy. It's literally those 2 creatures in all 3 games that they get those 2 cards perfectly, and it's really annoying. Right, we wait here because they go to cast a shakedown heavy and we go for a Vanishing Verse to get rid of the fight rigging. Problem is, they have another one coming and I'm not sure what to put on top of the deck. I choose Captive Audience for the late game. We have enough lands to actually use Captive Audience, so we drop our Triomes and then just hold back. Our plan is simple. We're going to go for blocking the shakedown heavy. We have to hope they don't get lucky. They get a Pelucranos, which is a good hit for us. We double block to take it out because Edgar's going to flip back. We draw our thing and we have to Clarion here because if they top deck a land, they'll have the mana for the ultimatum. We put a Yorion into hand. They put a counter on Pelucranos, which is pretty good synergy, and start attacking. We get our 1/1 here. We shock in and go for Captive Audience. They scry. They clearly want to get to the ultimatum before they have to discard their hand. So they start by giving us 5 zombies. They play a tap land. So if they can manage right, we go all out on our attack here and attack with Edgar. Our opponent blocks one of our tokens and then fights Edgar. Unfortunately, the way the Pelucranos works is it gets smaller, so our little token here can finish him off. We then cast Yorion and blink Edgar's Coffin, and the whole match comes down to, can our opponent top deck a land? They didn't top deck a land, but in their upkeep they go for a scry, probably looking for some kind of answer, don't find it. Alright, we go into our final match here. I bring back in the Dire Strain but then take it immediately back out, because based on their luck, even destroying the fight rigging and giving them a land will probably ram them into the ultimatum that will inevitably be in their hand. Final match. We keep a questionable hand here, but we do have interaction to make him sack stuff and Culligan's command to make him discard. We're hoping on drawing a land. We do draw a land, which is good for us, so we start with our Triumph. We then... Right, this is where things get rough. Our opponent again has the most amazing luck. They fight rigging. They put ultimatum under the fight rigging. I decide how to do things here. They go for their second fight rigging. I forgot this. Put another card underneath. So they have 2 fight riggings and a shakedown heavy in their hand. We draw the veto, but we don't have white mana. We whiff on white mana. So with no other thing to do, I literally just look for anything that I could cast, and they're all white spells. So once again, perfect hand, Shakedown Heavy, puts the Fight Rigging on. They flip a Tarask and a Sultai Ultimatum. So their hands were amazing, and we never got that kind of luck.